Welcome everyone to this Momentum Energy webinar on energy efficiency for small businesses. My name's Liam O'Neill. I'm an energy efficiency engineer at Hydro Tasmania, and I'll be taking you through the steps required to make your business more energy efficient. Hydro Tasmania is the largest renewable energy generator in Australia. We are also the largest water manager. And if you took all the water flowing through our hydroelectric power stations and funneled it into the MCG, it would fill it up in just 1 hour. So that's the amount of water we're dealing with. Momentum Energy is our retail arm, and we provide electricity in South Australia, New South Wales and Victoria, and also provide energy solutions to our customers, who are mostly small businesses. Now, why is it that everybody's been talking about energy efficiency? It's been a hot topic for quite some time now. And now one of the main reasons this is because electricity has been increasing in cost over the last 5 or 6 years. This here is a graph of average electricity prices for small businesses for the last 20 years. And as you can see, between 1994 up until about 2007, prices remained fairly constant. And then from 2007 up to present, prices have almost doubled. So a good way that you can avoid the effects of these price rises is by improving the energy efficiency of your business. So how can you do this? Well, the first thing you need to do is you've got to really understand how much energy your business is using and what area of your businesses are using what amounts. Second thing is to get your staff engaged. Let them know that you're keen to improve energy efficiency of the business and really encourage them to look around in their day-to-day work and find areas to make some savings. Now, once you've got the staff engaged, you can then identify energy savings and then come up with what we call an energy management plan, and that's a plan for how you're going to make the savings in your business. So, step 1, understanding your energy use. So it's really important to identify the top energy loads at your business. So these will generally be things like heating and cooling, hot water, refrigeration, appliances, motors and pumps, and lighting. So if you can identify the top 4 or 5 of these and get a rough feel, maybe half of your energy uses in heating and cooling, another 25% might be hot water, and 25% for the rest. This gives you a good idea of where you need to concentrate on to make the best energy savings. Then you need to set this as your benchmark. So you understand right now you're using this much energy, and then in a couple of years' time you can look back at this benchmark and find out how much you've saved. It's a good comparison. And finally, a good thing to do is compare your energy use to similar businesses or even to your home. So if you've got a small business, you can look at your electricity bill, see your total energy spend, compare this to your home because they may be similar. Or say if you've got a similar business next door, find out how much energy they're using, and then this gives you a feel of if you're a high energy user or if you're actually doing quite well, if you're already quite energy efficient. So once you've got a good understanding of your energy use and which area of your businesses are using what amount, then it's a good idea to start communicating to the staff. Let them know how much energy you're using. Let them know that you're really keen to improve your efficiency. Get them excited, get them engaged. So this starts off with some communication, making sure it's clear, relevant, and motivating. For instance, if it's the middle of summer, you might want to really communicate to staff that, be careful with the air conditioning settings. If it's the middle of winter, maybe you're thinking more about water heating, space heating. And you also want to focus on the environmental benefits of the energy savings. So tell staff that, we're out this, we're not only trying to save money, we're also trying to reduce the effect of the environment. This is generally more engaging for staff. One way to get staff engaged is to assign energy champions in different areas of the business. So we do this here at Hydro Tasmania. We've got 30 hydroelectric power stations across Tasmania, and we have energy champions in each main area who drive energy efficiency, collect staff ideas, and provide the feedback from the Hobart office about how much progress we're making to improve our energy efficiency. And we find this works really well. So we also encourage you to assign an energy champion, and then when staff have done well, if they've made some good savings, encourage you to recognise their achievements and to maybe give them a prize, a chocolate bar, or something even as simple as that to really get them excited about this journey of improving the energy efficiency of your business. So the next thing to do once you've identified your energy use, you've got staff engaged, is to start creating a list of all the potential energy efficiency projects that you could implement. Now, it's a really good idea to keep this somewhere public so all staff can see it, to remind them to keep an eye out and identifying things. And these ideas may be things like reducing the amount of hours that the lights are on, or reducing the thermostat of your heating system, simple things. Once you've got a list of these ideas, you can then prioritize them based on the potential value to return to the business. So the savings that are going to make the biggest effect, prioritize as the top ideas, and then other ideas that are potentially more expensive or maybe won't make as much saving, you have further towards the bottom. And finally, you can actually save money on energy by producing energy on site. And now is a really great time to be doing this with renewable energy like solar PV becoming much cheaper. So you can see here on this graph that back in 2003, solar PV was up at around $14 per watt installed. But you can see now this price has come all the way down to almost $4, which means that producing your own energy on site has never been so affordable. All right, so now that we've got a bit of an understanding of where our energy is being used, we've got staff engaged, come up with a list of potential energy efficiency ideas and prioritize them into which ones we're going to start with. And the next thing to do is to put together a plan of attack. How are we going to do this? And a good way to start that is by setting some short and long-term targets. Now, a short-term target might be something like we're going to implement 3 of our energy-saving ideas in the next year, whereas a long-term target may be something more like we're going to reduce our energy consumption by 20% over the next 5 years. So once you've got your plan in place, you've set some targets, then you can start implementing some of these energy efficiency ideas, starting with the highest on the prioritization list. Now, it's really important to track the progress and keep staff informed of how everything's going. So you might upgrade the lighting. Great idea to then tell staff, okay, this is awesome, we've installed some energy efficient lights and we've managed to knock 50% off our lighting energy use. Or we might have installed some new energy efficient technology and just let staff know that now when they use that technology it's using a lot less electricity. And the money you've saved from implementing these energy efficiency ideas can then be reinvested in future projects if you want to get a bit of a snowball effect occurring, where you save some money from implementing the first couple of ideas. That money is then reinvested into implementing maybe ideas 3 and 4, and in the following year you've got even more money saved, which can be reinvested and so forth. So I've put down some ideas here just to get you started. I've picked out 4 main areas for a small business where you're going to be able to find some fairly good savings. These are heating and air conditioning, lighting, hot water, and refrigeration. With your heating and your air conditioning, it's really important to correctly size your unit if you're buying a new system or if you're upgrading an old system. If your system is too large, then you're using a lot of electricity and you're providing either too much heating or too much cooling. But then if the system is too small, you're going to be really putting a lot of pressure on that system to give the amount of heating and cooling required. and it's going to wear out quicker, require more maintenance. So really important. Start with, make sure that the unit is sized correctly. Next, really great idea to keep it in the thermal zone of 18 to 20 degrees for your thermostat. So a rule to go by is every degree outside of this comfort zone actually can add on up to 10% on the cost of running that system. So if you think about that, if you've got your heating system set at a thermostat of 30 degrees, then it's actually going to use twice as much electricity as if you had it in that nice thermal zone of 18 to 20. And finally, with heating and cooling, you've got to clean those filters regularly. Now moving on to lighting, there's a lot of energy efficient lighting out there, really cheap, lots of government rebates, and I'll actually be telling you about one of our customers who have recently managed to save 70% off their lighting energy use just by doing some lighting upgrades. Another thing you can do if you don't have the capital cost to upgrade all the lights is you can just clean those globes and tubes, which improves the efficiency because for the same amount of energy, it's actually going to put out more light because there's less dust and dirt blocking that light. Finally, with lighting, ensure things like security lights are left off during daylight hours. So there's not much point having that light on a sensor clicking on and off when people walk past during the day. So that's just wasting electricity. On to hot water. If you insulate your hot water pipes, generally you're looking at 1 or 2 meters of the outlet pipe that comes out the hot water system. That can stop that water cooling down and then essentially sucking heat out of the system. That's going to save you energy. And repair dripping taps. 1 drip every 2 seconds is equivalent to 10 baths a year. And if that's a hot tap that's dripping, you're paying twice. You're paying for the water and you're paying to heat that water. So make sure you get those things repaired. And finally, onto refrigeration. There's lots of things you can do with refrigeration, but I've put down 2 ideas here, is to stock popular items at the customer's eye level. So when they open up your refrigeration systems, to grab an item out and they can see it quickly and they're not standing there for 5 minutes trying to spot it. And also make sure you get regular maintenance checks. These are things like making sure the thermostat works, making sure the seals are solid, make sure there's not ice buildup, and other things that are going to cause that system to use more energy than is needed. So I've got a couple of examples for you here. One is an RSL in Victoria who have managed to knock $11,000 off their annual electricity bill by upgrading their lighting to more energy efficient systems that use 70% less electricity. Now the amazing thing about this program is that it paid for itself in just 1.2 years. So the amount of money it costs to install these systems, you get that money back in just 1.2 years through the savings from installing those systems. And another great thing was that RSL managed to get 28% of the project cost paid through government rebates, which was through the VEEPS system using Victorian Energy Efficiency Certificates. Another example I have here is an international example. It's actually from the largest retail outlet store in the world. Now they have quite an interesting energy management plan in place where they plan to reduce their energy intensity of all their buildings by 20%, which is the amount of energy used per item they sell. They plan to produce or procure 7 terawatt hours of renewable energy annually, which is a quarter of all the renewable energy produced in Australia. They're going to install solar PV on 1,000 rooftops by 2020, and they plan to be 100% renewable by 2020. Now, why this is really interesting is the driver for all these changes is purely economic, not environmental. So if the largest retail store in the world is going down this path, it's a good indication that it's going to be a smart idea to follow in the future. So I've put together some resources here that have further great tips, like the Momentum Energy website has lots of tips and tricks on saving energy, both in residential and in the business. The Sustainability Victoria website has some fantastic information on there. Also, lots of information about government rebates. Carbon Compass is a great resource for finding out what the carbon footprint of your business is and giving you some tips on reducing that. And the Switch On website will give you some information around flexible pricing, which is something you can do in your home to potentially save money by shifting your load. So if you have any questions on any of these items, flick me an email on liam.o'neill@hydro.com.au. I hope you found this information useful, and keep an eye on the Momentum Energy website for some more interesting resources coming your way soon. Thank you.